Hey gang, Tony here. I wanted to do a first impressions slash unboxing video for this knockoff, retro handheld gaming thing that I honestly probably wouldn't have purchased if it weren't for the fact that it came across my recommended items in Amazon Vine, which I recently have been checking out. Uh, so it just so happens I was in the market for a new one of these things because I have from years ago I picked up back when it was like the most recommended one of these Ambernick devices. Um, I forget the exact number. Probably says it on here somewhere. But at the time, it was like the one. Yeah, this is the RG351P, and at the time, it was like the one that people would recommend, and I like it. But two things like immediately after I got it. One was that the screen was sort of on the small side for my old eyes, and I almost instantly regretted not getting something with a bigger screen. It's fine, but like it definitely is like noticeably like there's a bezel around that, so that's not actually the full size of the screen. You could kind of catch it when I get the light just right that it's even smaller. It is perfect for the Game Boy Advanced, but I also wasn't in love with the aspect ratio of the long. So for a long time, I've been wanting to get more like a Game Boy style retro handheld, and I probably still will get an Ambernick at some point. But as I said, um, Amazon Vine, it popped up in my recommendations. Never heard of this particular model or brand, but I figured I would just get it because it was free for Amazon Vine. And I'm just going to take it out of the box now. It is it's probably going to be super janky, but we'll check it out. It is this bad boy right here. It is the game console model DC40V. It's got a 4-inch 720 by 720 screen, and it says here that it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, Wi-Fi, vibration motor, um, these joystick things. It's like an entire kit. So again, like I was like, well, it. I looked it up while I was right before I clicked buy. I was looking online to see if like anyone has this thing because the more popular models that you could get, like the Ambernick ones and some of the associated, I mean, there are a lot of different ones out there these days. But if there's a big enough community, then there will be like not homebrew, but OS creation that you could put on the device other than the one that it comes with. So it gives you like better front ends and whatnot. I'm sorry, it's been a very long time since I messed with this stuff, so I'm for some reason my brain is not coming up with the correct terminology for any of this. But all right, so I got this open. It actually comes in a case, which I mean that's cool, right? It's got a little gamer guy with headphones and a controller mouth. The case feels nice. It looks nice. This, by the way, this sells for like $72. So it's actually, is that more? I think that's more money than like the Ambernick ones that I had been looking at. So just something to, All right, that opens up. There's a bunch of stuff in there. We got a customer support quick guide. It's just a little card with some information on it. And then we have the device itself, which has like the thing on the front to protect it. The screen does have a protector on it. This is narrower than I was expecting for some reason. But there you go. There's the first look at the front of it. I'm not sure what all that stuff in the middle is there, but it does look like we have a couple of analog sticks, a D-pad, clicky D-pad, buttons, clicky buttons. Analogs feel okay. I don't know. Certainly probably not Hall effect or anything. We'll look into that. I don't know what that is in the middle there. It feels like one of those like little mouse nub things, you know what I mean? Like it kind of just moves a little and it clicks. Start and select, and that has an FN right above it, so I guess that's a function thing, and I don't know what that is. What the hell is that? It's like just a recessed little area for some reason. And then the back has some trigger buttons, R1 and R2, L1 and L2. Looks like it's got a backwards facing speaker there. Yeah. Let's see. Around the sides we have a micro SD volume. That's weird. Volume looks like it's like not quite a wheel, but not a slider either. It kind of like, it's hard to explain, but you kind of just like press it one way or the other and it kind of springs back. It's interesting. These buttons, I'm just noticing, these buttons are real small. Look at this. Look at those buttons. And they're very clicky. Okay. What else we got over there? We got the power and reset as well. So that's up on the top there, power and reset. Then on the bottom we have a headphone jack, an OTG, and a DC. They do seem to be wireless C. Okay. All right. And then I'll power that on in a second. I'll just show you in the case here. We also have some other accessories and things. So we got a screen thingy, screen protector with all the accoutrement, so all the stuff you need to put that on. And we have another more robust instruction manual, which has QR codes and a bunch of other information, how to save your games and whatnot, configurations, display FPS. All right, some good stuff here. I'll take a look at that. It comes with a charging cord, charging cable, but no charging brick, which is kind of standard these days. And I think most interestingly, it comes with these little joysticks that are meant to be attached to the game system, which I thought was an interesting touch. It shows in the picture anyway, I guess maybe just one of them, and then you kind of like pick what, there's different lengths on those, but in the picture it shows it there on the left side, left top there. So that's everything. I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to attempt to do that. I imagine maybe it just pulls off the... Yeah, it just pulls off. So you just pull that. I can see that becoming an issue, like, because maybe it gets loose, So yeah, you could just put the little controller on there if you want to play, I guess, little... That feels weird. I'm not going to lie. That feels like little weird. I don't know. It's cool though. All right, I'll put the regular controller back on and let's power this guy up and see what is on here stock. So what stock stuff is on here. I don't know if it's charged enough to start. So a single press, like a quick press, doesn't do it. Sometimes you got to do a long press. Oh, that did it. And it was vibrating. Um, open source console. Okay. I'm not going to take that screen protector off quite yet. Oh, it's got some RGB lighting around the joysticks there, the analog sticks. And we're doing some loading. All right, and we're up and running. Maybe I will pull that off just so you could get a look at what the screen really looks like. I mean, it's hard to see on there anyway, but it looks pretty neat actually. I mean, it looks good. That is surprising. Like when the I forget what that's called when you tilt the like the viewing angle. I can like you can see even in the camera like you looking at it horizontally, it doesn't really wash out at all, which is kind of impressive. And I apologize. I know that this is the worst way to like look at this with reflections and everything else, but that's on Game Boy Color. So we got Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, DS, Sega SG-1000, Game Gear, Mega Drive, 32X, Dreamcast, Neo Geo, Neo Geo Pocket, PlayStation, PSP, a user's manual, favorites, all games, Amstrad CPS, CPC, I don't even know what that is, Arcade MAME, Atari, Arcade CPS1, Arcade CPS2, Arcade CPS3, PC Engine, Family Computer, Nintendo, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Nintendo 64, and we're back to Game Boy Color. Yeah, wow. Game Boy Color is that 21? I think that's 2,121 games, 181 games on the 64. Let's look at some of those more advanced systems like Dreamcast. 5 games. That's kind of like what I was expecting. When you get to those the systems that are harder to run, oftentimes they'll only put a few games on there because they don't run that well. Neo Geo has 187. What about PlayStation? 24 games under PlayStation. MAME has like 1,700. Atari has 31. Let's go to all games and see. Does it tell you? Total game number here seems to be 180. Well, no, 18,560. Are there repeats and like weird things? Probably. Let's go to. So anyway, let me scroll through there so you could see a little bit. Yeah. Let's check out something. Let's check out Super Nintendo. Start, which did not bring me into the. All right, so this is where I probably need to actually look at the manual because. Okay, so you got to actually press the A button to get in, not the start button. Start button brings you to like menus. Don't know what this stuff is at the top. It looks like folders. So at the top of the list has like folders and stuff. And then, yeah, this is kind of like what you can expect with a lot of these sorts of systems. So like when you're scrolling through the games, there's like no box art. So they didn't put any of like the metadata kind of stuff. They don't make it look pretty. Once you're in those game lists, you see it's just nothing. They are numbered. They are not in alphabetical order because they have numbers in front of them. So that's great. Right? Like, look at that. There's, I don't know if you can be able to see it, but they put, like, numbers. Each game is numbered. So it's going in, like, alphabetical order is putting them in the order of the numbers rather than in the order of actual alphabetical order. I'm just going to hit, let's go into, I don't know, this one says Wolverine. Okay. Game is starting. Oh, probably this way. See, volume, how loud does it get? You guys know this game? I have never played this game. Alright. I'm not going to do any gameplay kind of stuff because... oh, I accidentally went into it. Alright, let's back out. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more... Like, this was just, like, first impressions sort of thing. Because I clearly don't have this set up for like screen capture at the moment or anything like that. Maybe I'll still do that in a separate video. But first impression is that it feels lightweight and plasticky. The buttons I'm not a huge fan of. I'm going to compare that to my Ambernick. I think these systems tend to be like kind of clicky in that way. In fact, I think, now that I think about it, this one might have a similar... Yeah, they're kind of clicky. The buttons are bigger, though. I don't know about that D-pad, too. I'm going to need some hands-on time to get, like, real impressions. But, like, if you look at the button size compared to that one, these are a little bigger. And, you know, they just have... They look nicer. This looks like a little plastic, kind of not great. But, you know, I'm going to reserve... And this definitely has more weight to it, too, the Ambernick. This one feels a bit, a little bit lighter, not hugely. So usually what you'd want to do with a system like this is take that SD card out of there, get a good SD card, because probably that one's not a very good SD card, and then load up your own operating system and your own ROMs and stuff so that you could kind of like curate it a little bit better. But I kind of want like an out-of-the-box experience to see how this all works and how well it goes. So in that scenario, I don't really want to get right into like, are there OSs that run on this thing? I don't even know if there are, because this is a very like, you know, basic, unknown as far as I could tell system. But so that's what I got there. I am super curious about this weird little recessed area in there, and I wonder if it says, if I can find that really quick to, let's see, there it is. There's an arrow to it in the diagram, and it says horn. I don't know if there's any other explanation of that anywhere. I'm looking. I'm going to have to look into that because I don't know. It just says horn, but then otherwise doesn't have a whole lot of information. And it's gotta say something other than that somewhere, because that just doesn't make any kind of sense to me. Oh, hold on. Let me check something. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, that is not a speaker. That's an air vent on the back, and the horn is the speaker. So that's actually the speaker right there. I'm glad I didn't like poke my finger in there too hard. I was just kind of like touching the top of it. I didn't like stick my finger in. That's pretty cool. That's why it was so loud. So yeah, that's neat. Cool feature. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll catch you all later. Breathe deep in the night. If I do some gameplay, I'll see if I could do like a capture card thing. All right. Goodbye, everybody.